Alright gang, I wanted to give you a quick tutorial about one of the resources on our Google site, which is Desmos. So I've already clicked on the link and here I am at desmos.com. There are a lot of different options to explore down here. This Learn More really can help you go through a lot of tutorials. I'm just going to click on Start Graphing. Okay, now you'll see that we come up to kind of a blank screen. One thing that I would change pretty much every time I do this is I go up to the wrench, and this allows me to change some of the way the window looks. Now, this kind of looks messy to me. I've got a lot of grid lines, so I get rid of the minor grid lines, so I only see my major axes. Now, you can tell here that we're counting by twos. We've got 2, 4, 6 on our X, 2, 4, 6 on our Y. I also want to change that to 1. Now, you're not always going to necessarily need to do that. I'm just going to do that for the sake of this tutorial. And then we can also change some things like our x-axis. We can add a label, like suppose we're talking about a problem with time and comparing it to height for our y-axis, and so you see our labels come up as time and height. And maybe we're going from -10 to 10. We can change our y-axis also from -10 to 10. And maybe counting by 1, now again this makes it look too tight, so I could change these to anything I want, like 2 again. I can just go back to that. And now I'm going to close my grid line. Alright, so let's get into the actual graphing. Over here on the left side of the screen, we can type in whatever our function is. So suppose that our function is f of x equals x squared. Well, several different ways we could type that. We can just type x squared. We could type y equals x squared. Or we could even name the function f of x equals x squared. Okay, and so that shows me a graph. Now, we aren't limited to just graphing one. Let's say that I want to show a second function g of x, and we could call that one x plus 2. And so this is incredibly helpful if we are going to do like a system of equations. So suppose I give you a system with these two functions. A, you'll notice that they are in different colors, and B, we can see here our points of intersection, which are solutions. I can click on those and they actually highlight those 2 points, and now I see the solutions to this system would be -1, 1 and 2, 4. Okay, and we can put as many graphs on here as we want. Now, another really valuable tool here is if I give you something like a piecewise function. So I've got 2 of my pieces. Maybe the third piece of my piecewise function is h of x equals -x plus 4. And so it starts to get a little bit messy because now we've got all 3 functions here graphed all over the place. Well, one thing I can do is I can change their colors so that I can maybe, if I want them all to be the same color, or I'm going to keep them different colors for now. I could also then limit their domain. So if we've got a piecewise function, let's say that this first piece, x squared, is only when x is less than 0. So to do that, I'm going to add a curly bracket and say x is less than 0. And you see now the red line changed here so that we've got values just to the left of 0 or values that are less than 0. Let's say this middle function, I want the x values only when we're going from, let's say, 0 to 4. So to do that, and I'm going to include 0, so I'm going to say 0 is less than or equal to x, and that is less than 4. And so you see that really shrunk the function, the blue one, down. Now I'm only from 0 to 4 on my x coordinates. And finally, let's say the last one, I want all x values that are greater than or equal to 4. So I'm doing my curly bracket again, x greater than or equal to 4, and I'm going to close my curly bracket, and now I can see all of the pieces of my piecewise function. One great thing that we can do too then, kind of over here on the left, we can zoom in if we want, we can zoom out. I can also click and drag to move it around to find certain points. I can zoom in and out with my mouse wheel. Now let's suppose that we zoomed way out for some reason to try to find some point, and we don't want to have to scroll all the way back in. We can just click on this default zoom, and it takes us right back to where we were, what we set up, and we've got our point of origin here in the middle. Okay, now here's where it gets really great. Suppose we graphed all of these functions, and I want to insert this into some document, or I want to share this with, perhaps as part of your assignment, to share it with me. There's several different ways we can do that. Up here in the top right gives us some clues. I can print, and when I print, you're going to want to change your destination over here. And one thing, I can save to Google Drive. So I can print it, and really that's going to save it to my Google Drive. And I can click Save, and it'll do that for us. Maybe then I want to share it with someone, so I could click Share Graph, and it gives us several different options. I can take the link and I can email it to someone, so I can just type in their message right here, your name, and then maybe some sort of message. I can also take it as an image, and you see here, then again, we can take this and insert it into a blog. Maybe that'll be part of our discussion on our Google website again. Those are both options. And then finally, maybe one good idea would be to save the graph. Probably should have done all that before, so I'm just going to save this as Piecewise Tutorial and save it, and it'll ask me, and it's saved now under, after I've created an account, somewhere in my account, and you'll see it next time you log in. Okay, so this is really a very valuable tool. It's great for piecewise functions. Even if we just want to do one function, it's great for that. A lot of different options and many more tools that I did not even cover here. And in case you want to find some of those, the help gives you a great way to find that. You can look at other different pieces here and even type in your query down there. All right, and that is a quick tutorial on Desmos, guys. We'll see you next time.